Hi, my name is CASE Masтерmind. I am a business strategist and I will be your host. In this podcast, I'll be getting raw, real, and relentless whilst interviewing successful entrepreneurs from all over the world who specialize in different aspects of business. We'll cover the 5 main pillars of business, which are sales, marketing, finance, operations, and leadership, but not forgetting mindset, live and digital events, plus much, much more. You will gain insights, tips and tricks, and discover jaw-dropping actionable steps that you'll be able to put in place for your business right away. Guys, our next speaker today, he owns and runs his own cost consultancy business named Simplifier. After reading Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which mentions the mastermind principle, Patrick began searching to be part of a mastermind group himself and then founded his own called CASE Mastermind, and it features on CASE broadcast. CASE is made up of a body of members who trust in the power of collective with the motto, none of us are as smart as all of us. Very smart, very, very smart. Now, CASE is like having your own board of directors on hand. He's here today to share with us how to spend more time working on your business rather than in your business. Please welcome Patrick Twitchett, the founder of CASE Mastermind. Welcome here, Patrick. Oh my God, I'm so excited to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. Really
No worries. No worries. Now, we did speak a little prior to having this episode recorded, and when he was telling me about CASE Mastermind and why he created this and how it actually changes a lot of things, the perspective for people's business and lives, I was like, oh my God, I need to have you on here because people need to hear about this, right? And so before we get into the whole nitty-gritty of what this CASE Mastermind is really all about, tell us a little bit about yourself and how and where you came from, what your background and how you kind of merged into business and creating this business for yourself.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I've got an engineering background, and within that, I went into management, project management, and the various roles I was doing, the various things I was involved in, gave me the idea about my company Simplifier, which I started up in 2013. And then I recall reading the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And for me, that was a catalyst. That book was a catalyst to say, don't be a slave to money, make money work for you. I think that was the real ethos of that book. And, getting into personal development over the years, and reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which hopefully a few people out there have heard. It's a very popular book. It mentioned the mastermind principle, and I really gravitated towards that. So I was searching around, looking about, and found there was a few mastermind groups around, and they had huge ticket prices on that. And here's me starting out in a business. I'm still employed, so I'm starting this business in my spare time. I've got 3 sons as well to pay out for, and a mortgage and everything else. And it was, wow, this is a lot. I can't really commit into this. So somebody else, we started CASE Mastermind, and because of where we were at starting out in that, we always maintain a low level of entry for anyone starting out because we didn't want to be exclusive. And I think it's Jim Rohn and probably a few others have said this as well along the way. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And, business can be really lonely. So CASE was like having your own board of directors, a sounding board for ideas and challenges that you had. And that's where I was. That's what I wanted. When you in business, you've got decisions to make, and you just want to put your hand on someone's shoulder and say, is this right? Is what I'm doing actually right? Am I crazy, or is this a really good idea? You know, and so that's where it was born from.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I guess, being part of a mastermind actually kind of helps you with other ideas, see whether people like your idea or not, whether this is worth kind of following up on, and if there's any tweaks or changes that you need to make as well. And getting that whole different perspective is so important, because it saves you from, being in your own head and racking your brain out and trying to figure out all these things that, comes with business. And it's easy just to ask someone, right? And that's what being part of the mastermind helps you do.
It does. I often say I like to bring my harebrained, wild and wacky ideas and then let people bring me back down to earth slightly.
There you go. There you go. So I heard, Patrick, that you have a canny ability to simplify things, and you are known as the Simplifier. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the idea is, as the Simplifier, it's taking the complication out of people's lives. I think we all have a tendency to overcomplicate
just
things.
Just a little.
Yeah, and I think
go to that side of things a lot quicker.
Yeah, and I think there's certain personality types in the way that we are, and when you've got that perfectionism as well, perfectionism is probably your biggest concern ever, because it will slow you down, and you end up putting miles more things in the way than you actually need to, and we do too much. We need to delegate and make our lives more simple and less complicated, because, less is more, really. Less is more.
That's right. And so I've got a question for you on that, because you did touch upon and mention that you've got 3 boys yourself, and that you're working in a job at the moment whilst building your business. So how do you manage all of that, simplify all of it to be able to juggle all of that?
Okay, so when I started the business, I was currently employed. I'm fortunate now, I'm 100% on the business. So I left employment many years ago now. But, and I'm really fortunate that my boys have grown up as well now. So it is a lot harder to juggle. And I think managing that, one of the important things for me, always along the way, and this is for anyone who's got children, because I remember people a lot older than me when I was very young, because I think I became a dad at, how old was I? I was 20 when I became a dad. Oh. So it's quite young. And they all said, we're always working hard to try and make ends meet. But they said, you'll never get that time back with your children.
Right.
I always valued that. And I still hold by that principle today. And when you're diarising your time, block your personal time first. It's family first. We shouldn't, I hope we don't, live to work. We just work to live, and work to provide a life that we build around our friends and family. Because after all, I don't think anyone on their deathbed has ever said, I wish I would have worked more hours.
Right. Right. That makes complete sense. So, wow, that's just giving people a different perspective right there.
I would hope so, because it's easy to get drawn in, especially when you've got your own business. Yeah. So easy to get sucked in, especially when you're enjoying it. And then all of a sudden you begin to block out other people in your life. And that's a really dangerous place.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure a lot of people have actually experienced that and realize that they need to make changes. So, Patrick, I've got another question for you here. Now, what actually qualifies you as an expert in this field?
Okay, so Simplifier as a business is about helping people simplify their business supply line and to make their life less complicated. So my purpose is to help people free up time to spend time on their business and not in it, completely consumed in that hamster wheel that we can get ourselves into. Right. But that's my contribution into CASE. And CASE is a collective, as you alluded to earlier. I'm not the guru. It's not that there's one person that's a guru. CASE is a collective. And the very power of the collective lies in having this board of directors around you that are experts in their own field, each having their own niche. So my focus and my niche is just, let's step back, look at what you're doing, and how can we break that down and make your life easier. In my career in management, you can easily get overwhelmed with loads of tasks and things to do. So it's breaking those down continually and putting processes in and just organising what you're doing. A great place to start is the calendar, and blocking things into certain areas. So that's where you allow the time to do things.
I'm so glad you mentioned the calendar, because I live by the calendar, and I'm this believer that if it's not in the calendar, it's not going to get done. Right?
Absolutely.
And so being able to manage your time, prioritize, engage, organize, it takes up a lot of your time, but it's so worthwhile because it does simplify everything else that you got to get done, making sure that you meet deadlines, you do get the tasks done, and that you're able to prioritize on what needs to get done now and what can actually stay for another week or so, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A to-do list is a list of things that you will never get done until you push that list down into that calendar and give it a time slot, definitely.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I live by it. I love that. So, are you able to teach a principle to our audience today that they can implement straight away in their business?
Okay, yeah, I think here's a principle that anyone can adopt at any stage along their business journey. And it's whether tasks should be done by you or somebody else. And that's your hourly rate. How much time do you take supplying your product or service, and what return do you get on that, and working out how much that actual cost is to you. So I think initially, if people are going to, grab pen and paper and do a task, here's the task. It's, first of all, break this down into, I would say, a monthly cost, because it's much more easier to equate. And you can take yearly costs and divide them by 12, put them into your monthly. So the overheads, your telephony bills, your mobile phone, if you've got an office, the rent, any fuel, subscriptions, business subscriptions that you're part of, any marketing costs, and all of that. Let's break that down to a monthly cost. You might even have staff. And again, that starts to get a little bit more technical. But for a lot of people that are just starting out, it's just them. So let's make this really simple with simple numbers as an example, because then it's easier to work out. So let's just say all those costs, it's only we're working from home, it's only £100 a month. That's our overheads, okay? And then let's look at our monthly earnings, and let's say for ease of use that the average earnings are £3,100 a month. So quite simply then, we can take off the overheads, the £100, that leaves us with £3,000.
Right.
And then we've got to take the hours that we're actually putting in to produce that £3,000. And that's going to be the actual operation of the business and the implementation of your product or service to your end consumer, any delivery that has to be done, but also your lead generation and your marketing. If you're working on all of those, then that's an actual time that you are putting in to produce that. So we're going to make this really easy. If it's 100 hours in a month that you're working, so that's not a huge amount, your rate is £30 an hour. Okay, nice and simply broken down. Now, that's your charge out rate of £30 an hour.
Right.
So let's take an example, bookkeeping. And we spend 3 hours a month doing bookkeeping. So if we say that, okay, so that's £90 of my charge out rate, nice and easy. Now, if a bookkeeper comes to you and says, right, I can do all that for you, and my cost to you is going to be £75 a month. Mm-hmm. Now, when we initially talk to them, we might say, well, that seems a lot. But then when we break it down and say, hang on, it takes me 3 hours, and that's £90, I can employ them. That then gives me back 3 hours a month that I can then hopefully produce a minimum of £90 worth of business.
Right.
So I'm paying for the bookkeeper, but now I'm spending more time on the business rather than in it. If I can push that into my marketing and bringing the leads in, then that's taking me out from working inside the business, the operations, and moving me out. So look at the processes that you're doing, the chain of producing that work, and draw yourself out of the business. And
I love that example that you gave, right? Because what I hear a lot of people saying is, oh my God, I'm just starting up, or I'm a small business, I can't afford to, outsource or hire anyone else. But using that example that you just gave us, it can actually be cheaper to outsource than doing it yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, let's look at, you're producing this podcast now, right? So let's just say it takes you 10 hours to edit it all and all the marketing of it and everything else in the background. And if that was, say, 10 hours, in this example, at £30, that's £300. If someone comes along to you and says, right, I can do all that for £200, that's a bargain.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And again, I like that because you're giving a different perspective on all of this, right?
It does. It really changes that mindset, because as business owners, we're always, trying to be quite, frugal and careful.
That's right.
But we've got to free ourselves up.
Yeah. And oh my goodness, yeah. And it can be so much cheaper to get someone else to do it, employ someone else. Why not, right? Why not free up your own time where you can make a lot more money and just pay somebody else to do the other stuff that you don't really want to do?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that. It's a very simple principle, but a really effective one, and completely has a mindset shift on the thinking of how people actually go about hiring people, and thinking that it's going to be too expensive to do that. Well, no, it's going to be more cheaper to do that for you. Right? So absolutely. Do you have any recent success stories that you can share with our audience today where, it's just you going through the process has given them, awesome results?
Okay, so I know you mentioned this to me earlier. So I've taken a couple of examples from people that we've worked with in CASE. So this first, in fact, both of these happened in a workshop. So we hold a monthly workshop. We also have closed mastermind groups, but these actually happened live in a workshop. So the first one, we had a guest, and that was a chap called James Burt, and he was talking about branding. And as he was rolling out and expanding all this, we then, in a workshop, we break out into brainstorming groups. So we go into a small groups of 3 to 5 people, and we bash out those ideas. This lady come out and she was like, I said, I've been spending so much time working on my marketing lately, and you've just turned the whole thing on its head. She said, I've just all the thoughts that have been bouncing around the room today. And she said, it's been so inspiring to me. I've got a new focus, a new direction. She repurposed her marketing strategy just off the back of that meeting, taking a whole new direction, and it's bringing much greater results for her. So that was just a really fantastic moment for everyone to witness.
Yeah, you did right there and then in your workshop, part of the CASE Mastermind, and it happened in front of everyone's eyes.
Yeah, it was really good. She was so excited as well. She's like, oh wow. So it's great. You're all caught up in that emotion of the moment. So it's good.
Right, that is brilliant. You're having these transformations on people straight away, which is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And so if people want to know more about Simplifier or about the CASE Mastermind and want to join, how can they go about doing that, Patrick?
Well, as I say, I like to make things in life extremely simple.
Right.
So there's just 2 websites. The contact details are in there. The information's in there. So very simply, casemastermind.co.uk will be all about CASE and what we're doing, the broadcasts that we do, the workshops that we do, everything links off of there. And for my business, Simplifier, very simply, simplifiers.co.uk. And that's the words simple and supplies squashed together. So it's SIMPLIES.
Awesome. I love that. And guys, all the links, everything will be in the show notes below. So make sure if you've missed anything, you can scroll down and get those links and then join the CASE Mastermind. Find out more about it, join the community, get those ideas. If you're struggling at any point in your business, then this is where you need to be. Make sure you go and find Patrick. Patrick, it was amazing to have you on this show. Thank you so much for the golden nuggets that you've given to everyone here today. I appreciate you being here on our show.
Yeah, thank you ever so much for having me. It's been great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time and listening to Uncensored Society podcast. All resources mentioned throughout the episode will be added to the show notes, and you'll be able to find them at the bottom as you scroll down. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and leave a review in iTunes. Thank you once again.